Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. All of you must be aware that the number of motor vehicles on the road has risen over the years. A good example of this is in Delhi. The number has risen to 1.09 crore in 2018 from 56 lakh in 2008. Just imagine how much emissions all these vehicles together produce. It's huge, right? Well, in this video, we'll learn about a very important device that controls the harmful emission of automobiles to a certain extent, the catalytic converter. When the fuel in the engine is burnt completely, it produces water vapor and carbon dioxide as byproducts in addition to the release of an enormous amount of energy. But in real working situations, the complete combustion of the fuel is almost impossible. Incomplete combustion results in the release of large amounts of unburnt hydrocarbons, nitrogen oxides, and carbon monoxide into the atmosphere, which are completely harmful. In order to convert these harmful emissions from the engine into harmless gases, catalytic converters are used. A catalytic converter is an exhaust treatment device which controls the emission of automobiles. You might have learned about reduction and oxidation reactions in your school. Just as the name suggests, the catalyst in the catalytic converter triggers a set of reduction and oxidation reactions that converts the harmful gases to neutral gases. The catalytic converter was first patented in the year 1956 by Eugene Houdry. Now it is used in almost all the automobiles. A catalytic converter is usually located between the exhaust manifold and the tailpipe. The catalytic converter consists of a substrate, washcoat, and catalyst. The substrate is made of ceramic material for retaining high temperature and is made in the shape of a honeycomb for increasing the surface of the reaction area. The substrate is then coated with porous aluminum for making the surface rough and irregular. This is known as washcoat, and it is used to carry the catalyst. Catalysts like platinum, palladium, and rhodium are dispersed over the washcoat. These catalysts play a major role in the conversion. The major emissions in the engine exhaust are carbon monoxide, hydrocarbon, and oxides of nitrogen. Based on the emission they control, catalytic converters are of two types: two-way catalytic converter and three-way catalytic converter. The catalytic converter, which controls the emission of carbon monoxide and hydrocarbons alone, is called a two-way catalytic converter. The converter which controls the emission of all three mentioned is known as a three-way catalytic converter. The conversion of the harmful emission into harmless exhaust takes place in two stages. The first stage is the reduction stage, and the second one is the oxidation stage. When the exhaust flows over the washcoat, the reduction catalysts, platinum and rhodium, reduces the oxides of nitrogen into individual nitrogen and oxygen atoms. The reduced nitrogen atoms combine with other nitrogen atoms and leave as harmless nitrogen gas. In the second stage, the conversion of exhaust takes place with the help of platinum and palladium, which are the oxidation catalysts. The oxygen released from the previous stage combines with the carbon monoxide and hydrocarbon and produces water vapor and carbon dioxide. Thus, the harmful emissions are made harmless by the catalytic converter. Some catalytic converters use Syria, which can store oxygen when the exhaust has more oxygen, and then this Syria releases it during the reduction stage. For proper functioning of the catalytic converter, it has to be maintained at a hot temperature. The temperature above which the catalytic converter will be active is known as light-off temperature. The catalytic converter will not be effective when the heat of the exhaust gas is lesser than the light-off temperature, particularly when the engine has just started. In order to avoid this, some vehicles use a pre-converter which has a smaller catalytic area and is placed next to the exhaust manifold of the engine. In 1995, Alpina introduced ECAT, that is electrically heated catalytic converter, in the Alpina B12. It consists of heating coils which heat up the converter with the help of electricity. To ensure the functioning of the catalytic converter, oxygen sensors are used. A sensor is placed on either side of the catalytic converter. If both the sensors detect the same amount of oxygen, it shows that the oxygen is not utilized and hence the catalytic converter is not working. The oxygen sensors are connected to the engine control unit, which controls the fuel injection system for ensuring that there is sufficient oxygen available in the converter for the reactions. So guys, that's all about catalytic converters. Wait for more interesting videos in the upcoming days. Until then, bye.